There was a time in my life where I didn't really believe in anxiety or depression. That sounds like a very insensitive thing to say, but it's true. Mostly, I felt this way while I was attending school, from like the end of middle school into the beginning of high school. I only believed this because it seemed like a lot of the students that I've met had this issue, and not all of it seemed very genuine. Of course, I am not one to talk, and I certainly don't have the say in the matter of whether or not someone is actually experiencing it. But at the time, I was just quite sick of being surrounded by it. But now that I'm an adult and have been outside of school for like 4 or 5 years now, I can very well understand why a lot of the students have anxiety and or depression. I'm even less shocked that students nowadays have it even more, because the school system is just trash. But I'm not here to talk about the trashiness of the school system. I'm here to talk about why I had an issue with anxiety and depression while in school. Now, I never experienced these things, but at the same time, I was dealing with my own struggles and stuff while in my childhood, so I guess my way of dealing with it is to not react to it at all. And that's not an option for a lot of folks. It's not something you can really ignore. I did not really care or believe in the idea, or not even the idea, because it's an actual thing. I didn't believe in anxiety and depression. I know I keep saying that, but that's the truth. I was just surrounded by so many upset kids and so many people who were dealing with a lot of stuff in their own home. And I was going through this phase where, okay, so you're going through a tough time. Who cares? Why are you still announcing it? Everybody's going through a tough time. I'm just tired of hearing it. Because I was going through a tough time. So all I wanted to do was hang out with people who weren't going through a tough time, which, by the way, doesn't exist. Everybody is going through something at some point. Some people might take it better. Some people might take it worse, but for me, I was just kind of selfish. I was like, stop being upset and be happy for once. And, of course, this is a disgusting personality. And part of me knew that, hence why I didn't really say much of anything. At times, it did come off as rather rude. Now, I say this while on top of having somewhat of a fear. When I was younger, I was scared of making certain types of friends. Now, I knew a lot of the people that I made friends with were going through some things. A lot of them had anxiety, and I even told a story about how I accidentally gave a friend an anxiety attack, which was the greatest thing ever. So yeah, that also explains my own version of having a high amount of anxiety. But moving on, I was afraid of making specific friends, because I don't know where I got this information from, but I was told if somebody's going through a hard enough time and they kick the bucket via clock out, they would write people's names that upset them, that led them to that point, and you would get arrested. Now, I don't know if this is true, but back then I was like, I don't want to be arrested because somebody else offed themselves. Now, this is no joke in any means necessary. I'm not trying to make it a joke, I'm genuinely serious. I was scared of being arrested for the cause of somebody else's death. And I did not want to be the cause of it, so I tried my absolute best to be on their good side. And while I believed, really believed, that anxiety and depression was all in their head, I would still try to be a good friend. Because who am I to tell them whether or not they're faking it? Sure, it was annoying because I felt like I was always the prince in shining armor trying to defend them and protect them and be their best friend. And so ultimately they were like, nobody else cared about me the way you do. I feel safe when I'm around you. You're awesome. You're a great friend. And I just felt like I was just digging myself further and further into a hole, and that I couldn't say or do certain things because I was afraid I would upset them. And so yeah, back when I was in school, I was kind of afraid to make friends with people who were suffering through those kind of situations. Of course, later on, nobody told me this, but I kind of felt like, you don't get arrested for that kind of stuff. I don't think people sit there and write a death notebook saying, these are the people that made me upset. I want them arrested. I don't think it's that easy to, boil it down to who caused what. I mean, I can't imagine anything I would have done in the past that would have made it that bad, but that's what I was dealing with. And I watched this video a couple years ago. I don't know if anyone watches this YouTuber, but her name is Jaden Animation. I know I'm some low-class, off-the-charts YouTuber trying to be something huge, talking about an even bigger YouTuber, but hear me out. This is episode or video where she explained something I wish I would have known years ago. And I had already made a video about this a long time ago, but I was not good at saying what I have to say. Pretty much like what I'm doing now is stuttering through the words I want to say. But basically, she says in one whole sentence, you're not responsible for anybody's happiness. And honestly, I wish I was told this back when I was in high school, back when I was in middle school, because I really felt like if I did one small little thing wrong, I would really mess them up for probably the rest of their life. And again, I didn't do anything horribly wrong. I was just living life. I just felt like that these people were a little bit more fragile than the most, and so you couldn't do or say certain things that would possibly trigger them. So I felt like it was my duty to stay by their side. And if they didn't say anything for a long period of time, I would have to go out and reach out to them. Because I literally felt like their life was hanging by a thread I was holding. And that's not true. But basically in this video that Jaden explains is that you have to understand the balance between trying to help somebody and someone using you for their advantage. And it's kind of hard to tell, and I'm not here to explain that because Jaden probably did a lot of research and wrote everything down in a script and talked to herself in a mirror before she recorded it. I just say everything willy-nilly in the moment because I don't have a script, don't like a script. But what I want to say is, I've heard a lot of comments in the comment section going, well, why would you sit there and abandon your friend like that? If they need you, why would you abandon them? So basically what you're saying is if they're having a hard time, screw them. I don't think anybody understood what she was trying to say. And everybody's jumping to conclusions. And if you're the kind of person who thinks that you have to bend to every whim of your friend who's going through a hard time, I think you need to reevaluate yourself. Because there is somewhat of a visible line between somebody who desperately needs help and somebody who is just milking it. And even though you are helping a friend who desperately needs help, they're not your responsibility. There are ways for them to get help. I know that it's a lot easier said than done. I have never been to that extent of desperately needing help, and hopefully I don't have to, and I'm sorry for those who do, because this is a very touchy subject, but it still ties into what I said about school. If they need help, there's several ways for them to get it. But if you are constantly putting yourself in the situation of trying to help them, you'll only drive yourself insane. Because, like me, I was stressing out doing pretty much normal stuff, afraid that I was going to do something wrong and affect them in some major way, even though it wasn't ever going to happen. Still, there are some people who also will try to take advantage of that, who feel like, oh, this person will never leave me, I will lock them in with threats about myself or threats about them or threats to others or whatever, and they'll just follow my every whim, which is not okay. Do your best to help them, sure, but both of you guys need to understand the comfortable boundaries that needs to be set so nobody is overexerting themselves for somebody else. So yeah, when I watched Jaden's video, it made so much sense. I could link it down below for you guys to watch yourself, if I can find it. But I love it. I absolutely love it. It just explains everything that was going through my head at the time when I was dealing with that kind of stuff. And it made me, well, I watched it when I was adult, no longer dealing with that anymore, but it just would have helped had I watched it back then. Because some people really do feel stuck. Some people really feel like they have to help somebody because there's no other option, no other way. And it might seem that way, but there is. It just might take a minute. It might take a while. I know funds could be an issue. I know connections could be an issue. You might feel like you're locked in somewhere, and they might feel the same way too. But it's not something that could be cured or fixed overnight. So there is going to be a bit of a grind. But one thing for sure, you're not stuck. Nobody is. There's a way. It just might be as easy to get there as somebody else. Hey everyone, this is an end card that I'm doing for the first time. I always wanted to do an end card and I did not know what to even say, so I kept pushing it off, but now I'm going to throw something random in here. So first I want to say this is an end card, and second I want to talk about how I have an Instagram. Yeah, I know, I already posted in the description, but really listen. So I've been hosting events on my Instagram, and the only way you can actually attend those events is if you go on my Instagram. I wish I had done this end card thing sooner because I have an event going on right now that ends on the 2nd of April. If it's not too late, go ahead and run over to my Instagram because I'm currently doing a giveaway bag for the Dragon Ball patch giveaway. There's 7 Dragon Balls and a Dragon Ball drawstring bag that comes along with it. Enter in the contest for your chance to win, and I will announce the winners on the 2nd of April. And that's all I have for right now, and tune in for the next one. So for now, just like, subscribe, and share if you can, because it would be very appreciated. Thank you.